we talk about waste, it's important to break it down into 4 categories: landfill, recycling, organics, and e-waste. While these categories seem simple enough, there's often a lot of confusion about what goes where. For example, while most receipts are made out of paper and may seem recyclable or even compostable, they're actually coated in BPAs, a thin plastic that cannot be recycled, so they must go in the trash. While the occasional mistake may seem harmless, if a recycling or organics bin is too contaminated with waste that belongs in the trash, the entire bin has to go in the landfill, or else recycling centers can be inadvertently damaged and waste management workers are put at risk to fix these damages. As a best practice, get in touch with or research your campus waste hauler to get a guide or list. Education is key to preventing contamination, as campus waste relies on the end user's sorting decisions. By utilizing Grades of Green's resources and making what goes where lists widely available, you can help your campus to prevent its contribution to the harmful effects of improperly sorted waste. Now let's break down those categories of waste in a bit more detail, starting with recycling. In general, materials that can be placed in a conventional recycling bin include paper, cardboard, aluminum, and plastic bottles. Let's dive a little deeper into common misconceptions about other kinds of recyclable materials. Find a plastic item nearby and flip it upside down. You may see a small logo similar to a recycling logo, a triangle with a number in the center and small text beneath it. While this looks a lot like a recycling logo, these numbers actually describe the kind of plastic that item is made out of, and it's important to check with your local waste hauler and municipality to see which numbers you can safely place in your recycling bin. If you're confused, you're not alone. When surveyed, Americans find recycling correctly more difficult than building furniture, doing taxes, and even the stock market. However, just like a card game or a sport, while there are important rules to consider, recycling becomes easy once you and your students learn the rules, making proper waste sorting second nature. Another important tip for recycling is to avoid wish cycling, putting something in the recycling bin and hoping it'll be recycled without knowing for certain whether or not it can actually be recycled. A few examples of commonly wish-cycled items include plastic bags and styrofoam. Another example is a pizza box. Certain waste haulers may want this in the organics bin, others may want it in the landfill, and another service may have the oily parts landfilled while the clean portion is recycled. When you wish cycle, it slows down efficiency in your local recycling centers, damages machinery, and poses risk to employees who operate and maintain the machinery. By referring to your hauler's guide, you can avoid all this confusion and prevent harm to waste facilities and their staff. Now let's talk about organics and compost. As we touched on earlier, organic waste is solid waste containing material originating from living organisms. Examples include food, green material, landscape waste like tree limbs or leaf litter, organic textiles, wood, paper, and manure. Organic waste can be repurposed into nutrient-rich compost, and the byproducts of properly managed organic waste can be used as a more sustainable energy and fuel source. If your campus waste hauler does not have organics waste disposal, utilize on-site composting, which will enrich soils, landscaping, or garden beds while providing essential learning opportunities for your students. Now let's talk about e-waste. Unlike a majority of normal waste, electronic waste, including computers, television, tablets, and phones, is composed of chemical toxins that are harmful to the environment if they are not processed correctly. With increasing quantities of technological products available widely on the global market, the magnitude of e-waste is growing. Creating these electronic materials requires significant amounts of natural resources, including metals like lithium, cobalt, and copper. Mining and extracting these metals dramatically disrupts local ecosystems and poses human health risks via groundwater contamination and hazardous emissions. Mineral mining also utilizes unethical labor practices, including child labor and forced labor. Reducing consumption of goods produced with these harmful practices, as well as properly disposing of these goods, are crucial considerations for school campuses in their waste generation and practices. Check out Grades of Green's e-waste drive toolkit to learn how your school can safely and effectively dispose of electronic waste. Finally, let's talk about the landfill. Everything we haven't mentioned so far goes in the trash so that it can be properly decomposed in a landfill, isolated from the environment. However, this decomposition process takes hundreds of years, which is why it's paramount that school communities take action to reduce all types of waste, preventing its generation in the first place. For example, the plastic utensils that your campus uses every day over a 1-hour lunch period will outlive the students that use them, their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, and so on to total more than 1,000 years. All the while, these items that are used once and tossed in a matter of seconds leach chemicals into the soils and take significant resources to decompose, requiring even more heat-trapping emissions. Now let's go over some steps that you can take on your campus, in the classroom, and at the individual level to reduce the climate impact of your waste. In addition to implementing proper waste sorting and materials management on campus, another impactful project is establishing on-site campus composting. Composting is nature's way of recycling. It happens every second of every day when dead plants and animals decompose and break down into soil. When organic waste is combined with carbon-rich brown materials like dried leaves, sawdust, shredded paper, moisture, and heat from the sun, it'll quickly break down and transform into compost. The organic waste you use for your on-site composting should stick to green matter and brown matter, discluding any meat, dairies, or oils. When added to gardens and landscaping, finished compost will help rebuild your soil's nutrients and hold in moisture. Best of all, it's the best soil to help grow nutritious food. Additionally, schools should establish a food share table where students can discard unbitten and unopened food and beverages to recirculate amongst the campus community. Campuses should also partner with local food recovery organizations to ensure that uneaten food can go to people and communities in need, combating hunger and food waste at the same time. Worried about liability for your food share table or donations? Schools are actually protected and encouraged to do this. Check out the links below for more information. Reducing waste can also be incorporated into the classroom in lots of fun ways. Challenging classes to reduce their trash and single-use plastic, and recruiting groups of students to help sort waste at lunchtime are two effective ways to make waste reduction exciting while giving your students agency over their environmental impact. Hosting school-wide events like e-waste drives, community cleanups, and committing to a litter-free campus are other initiatives that you can take to reduce your waste. For more information on incorporating waste reduction into your school community, check out the Grades of Green resources below. Thanks for watching. We hope that this video provides you with a better understanding of waste as a climate issue. Now you can take this knowledge and Grades of Green's resources on waste and climate change to your school community. Keep up your investigation of the topics discussed in this video by checking out the links below. For further learning about how climate change intersects with the environment, check out Uplift's modules on water, food, energy, and plants and animals. Interested in learning more about school sustainability and bringing Grades of Green's programs to your campus? Navigate to the Grades of Green program sign-up form, where you can include your name and school info, list which programs and environmental topics you are interested in, and get connected with a Grades of Green staff member to identify the best sustainability solutions for your unique needs. Be sure to include Uplift as one of your programs.